You are so fucking boring.
Morbius. Morbius. We are reviewing Morbius today. It is I, Bacho, and unfortunately today we are indeed reviewing Morbius. Come on, let's sit back a bit, relax. For those of you who somehow don't know, the grannies in the audience, Morbius is a anti-superhero movie produced by Sony, starring Jared Leto. It was released earlier this year. Morbius is a Marvel Comics character. However, this film is not set within the MCU. This isn't like the Avengers or Guardians of the Galaxy, but it is set in the same universe as the Venom films, which I haven't seen and probably never will.
And what's yours is mine.
Now, this film, Morbius, has been quite significant within meme culture. Firstly, because it's called Morbius. It's a very strange, juvenile-sounding name. Morbius. When it was initially released earlier this year, it bombed. Following this, it got heavily memed online. So much so that Sony got wind of the film's prominent online presence and decided to capitalise on it by re-releasing it in cinemas, at which point it once again absolutely tanked in the box office. Now, this is a good thing. This is very funny. A huge cynical company being tricked by an online meme into re-releasing a film that no one cared about. Ignoring all of the unfortunate low-level employees who probably lost their jobs over this is quite a moment. Quite a moment indeed in film and meme history.
Hi mate, what can I get you?
Hey, can I have one large Morbius meal, please?
Sorry mate, we just sold out of the Morbius meal.
Memes aside, however, get 'em out of here. I didn't watch this film until only recently. I was expecting a generic, inoffensive bore fest that left no lasting impression on my mind. And in many ways that is what I got, but also, to my delight, it was deeply flawed in that particular vein that's very amusing to witness. I was really pleased to find out that Morbius was entertainingly bad.
You think I'm joking?
So much so that it inspired me to make this review because I'd have a lot of fun doing so. I find it difficult to talk about movies that are lukewarm or just bang average. It's always much more interesting for a film to be atrocious or just outright retarded. So let's crack on, let's get this review underway. It is indeed Morbin time. Christ, I'm sold out. Here we go, Morbius in bright pink. How very threatening, how creepy. The opening title sequence has a colour scheme that doesn't match the film at all. It's these 80s neon colours, bright pinks and purples. Maybe if I was watching a Nicholas Winding Refn film, this would work. It's just strange considering what this movie's going for. We open with this spectacular establishing shot somewhere in Costa Rica. Get a really nice CGI waterfall to really let the audience know that the filmmakers are going the extra mile with making things feel genuine and believable. It just screams authenticity. The CGI throughout this whole film is this ugly visual drivel, just littering the screen with blurry grey and black sludge. What's the first line of dialogue for this film going to be?
We shouldn't be here when it gets dark.
I don't think anyone's going to disagree with me in saying that that was hauntingly delivered. That puts the fear of God in you. We have this introductionary shot of the crutches, the build up to the reveal of Michael Morbius as it pans up. They seem to have arrived at this perfect, naturally occurring landing pad for the helicopter. Lovely, nice and flat, and it's definitely not a soundstage. I think everything in this film is shot on location for maximum authenticity. Jared Leto insisted. I wouldn't expect anything else from such a true method actor. We'll send a helicopter team over some indistinct South American vistas and say it's Costa Rica. It'll just be the helicopter. You don't have to go. You can just turn up to the soundstage next Monday morning with the crutches.
You need a doctor?
I am a doctor.
There's a subtle and natural way of getting that bit of information across. Like they wouldn't have discussed this already.
You need a doctor?
Do you need a doctor? Why the fuck are you asking now? These people are here to catch some bats. Morbius cuts his hand to act as bait. Wow, so much blood. That's how our first scene ends, this colourless, boring display of a bunch of CGI nonsense. A tacky rip-off of the Batman Begins Bat Swarm motif. Then this happens. Oh, I'm not allowed to critique this because I didn't say anything when Multiverse of Madness did it. Fuck that, Multiverse of Madness at least had a whimsical tone that made a goofy transition like this feel a little more appropriate. Oh look, Jared Harris, a good actor.
Michael, this is Lucian. Lucian, Michael.
So this here is an important scene that's supposed to establish this lifelong friendship between Morbius and Matt Smith's character. One of the key emotional cores of the entire film. However, the storytelling of this movie is awful, so it completely botches it.
How long have you been here?
As long as I can remember.
Straight away it goes into exposition about the medical condition they both have.
There's no cure. There's something missing from our DNA.
But then as the dialogue is being delivered, it cuts away to another scene of a later point in the friendship where they are now getting along.
There's something missing from our DNA. Like a piece of a puzzle. And until they find it, the only way to stay alive is an oil change 3 times a day.
Oh look, they're laughing and enjoying each other's company now. That's it, they're friends now.
The only way to stay alive is an oil change 3 times a day.
That's how this movie communicates things to the audience. We're now supposed to care about this friendship because of this mini montage of brief shots of them getting along and laughing. It's rushing through all of these establishing scenes. It provides the bare minimum of storytelling to make it just about function as a movie.
What would you do if you could be normal? Just for an hour.
Already they're getting into the deep and personal shit. We only saw these guys meet 50 fucking seconds ago.
Michael, this is Lucian.
What would you do if you could be normal?
It's so rushed and hackneyed. Don't get me wrong, it's really funny.
What would you do if you could be normal?
Look at the freaks!
I love Hollywood depictions of bullying. The vast majority of the time, it's so emotionally manipulative and over the top. I can never take it seriously. Not even Breaking Bad could do it well.
My big boy pants! Mama, could you...
What else to say about the storytelling of Morbius? Well, this scene is also supposed to establish something else. That our lead character is very smart. Let's take a look at how this movie goes about showing that. A Rubik's Cube. A fucking Rubik's Cube. We're shown that this kid knows his history with this line.
Best not to be outside when school gets out. Like the original Spartans. We are the few against the many.
So smart. Unbelievably intelligent.
Like the original Spartans.
Young Matt Smith takes a hard L from the cringy Spartans line and just starts dying.
Milo?
Already it's trying to manipulatively tug on the heartstrings. You see this, audience, a child is dying. You wouldn't want to not feel sorry for a child dying, would you?
Milo?
Oh no, I'm so invested in this friendship. It's such a rich cinematic relationship after all.
What would you do if you could be normal?
So if you didn't have it on good authority already that this kid was a super genius, we now see him save Lucian's life by fixing what I think is his life support machine using a spring from a pen.
It took a team of scientists to build that machine and you fixed it with a ballpoint pen.
This is really funny. There you have it, folks. Kid's a super genius. I'm so glad that this movie got that across in a way that didn't at all feel stupid or forced.
You fixed it with a ballpoint pen.
Getting a bit nitpicky now, but are they computer-generated dust particles? They are enormous.
The dust aggravates my condition.
We then get a scene of Milo dropping a letter out of the window and then getting battered by the bullies when he goes outside to get it. And no, I didn't laugh then. There's nothing funny about a disabled kid getting beaten up. No. This is Matt Smith's villain origin story, by the way. His Joker moment. You can see the rage within him here.
Please. Please! Please!
It's a good thing I can take this scene seriously. It's such a dramatic bit of character development for Milo or Lucian or whatever. He's got like 2 names. You'd hate for it to be unintentionally funny due to a bunch of terrible child performers.
Please, can I have my letter back?
Okay.
think?
Please, can I have my letter back?
Can I have my battery back, please?
He walks away with relatively minor bruises considering he just got decked by 3 kids. He took at least one direct kick to the face. Then we get this scene that plays directly after that, which in almost comedic fashion has this line.
I'll look after Milo. He needs me.
We've just seen him get the shit kicked out of him, and it goes straight from that to this.
I'll look after Milo.
They're now grown-ups already. Thorough amount of character development we were given there in that young Morbius section. More flat exposition.
Quickly established himself as the world's leading authority on blood-borne diseases.
Morbius is a great man. His work has saved all of these lives.
His development of artificial blood has saved more lives than penicillin.
Can't even begin to imagine how great Morbius is. The extra in the background keeps glancing at the camera. My god, some of the extras in this movie are priceless. Let's see, I'll eat this food and I'll drink my coffee and then I'll drink my coffee again and again. Nothing to see here, I'm just taking a sip of my coffee like an ordinary person. It's distracting how self-conscious this guy looks.
Michael Morbius, please step forward to acknowledge the receipt of your prize from His Majesty, the King of Sweden.
Oh wow, an award from the King of Sweden. We get it, he's fucking Elon Musk. He's a mad genius, a child prodigy, the man, the myth, the morb. Before we even see him accept the award, it cuts away to the next scene where he's caring for this ill young girl in hospital. And we get this exchange that summarises what happened next in the prior scene before it cut away.
I can't believe you dissed the King of Sweden.
The king, the queen, their loyal subjects, all of Scandinavia, and the entire scientific community.
Sounds like that could have been a semi-interesting and amusing scene that told us something about Leto's character in an entertaining fashion, but it's not in the movie. They cut away and just gave us more exposition about the supposed quirky thing he did.
I can't believe you dissed the King of Sweden.
Has this film got a hard-on for tell, don't show? That could have been a cool way to learn that this Morbius character has issues. I wonder how they'll get that across now.
Well, Anna, we both know I have issues.
Here we have our distractingly good-looking female doctor / love interest character.
Dr. Morbius is in trouble.
I'm in trouble.
Yeah, she just fucking said that. Oh nice, you still got the Rubik's Cube. I was beginning to think he was no longer a super genius. We can't have a dumb fuck who can't even solve a Rubik's Cube as our main character, for Christ's sake.
Does our generous benefactor Milo know what you're actually doing here?
What am I actually doing here?
Remixing human DNA with bat DNA.
This film has the worst kind of exposition as well. Unnatural dialogue that wouldn't occur in the film's universe because the characters already know the information.
What am I actually doing here?
Remixing human DNA with bat DNA.
It's so transparently for the audience.
Okay. Maybe this will jog your memory.
I wouldn't go in there if I were you.
So basically, Morbius is looking for a cure for his disease, so he is experimenting with the CGI bats that he caught at the start of the movie to mix their DNA with his, so he can gain the ability to feed on blood or something.
These are the only mammals on Earth that have evolved to feed exclusively on blood.
So your theory is you can successfully splice vampire genes into your DNA that would allow your body to produce those same anticoagulants.
Yes.
And that's what'll cure him.
It would be a cure.
This is stupid, but this is a superhero movie, and superhero movies are allowed to be stupid. If this was a good movie, this really wouldn't matter. With a plot device this dumb, however, it probably shouldn't be taking itself this seriously.
We have to push the boundaries, take the risks.
It's also communicated in the scene that these experiments he's doing with these bats are top secret and may or may not be legal. He makes the point to his assistant that he lied to her about what he was actually doing so she'd have plausible deniability.
You know, there's something called plausible deniability. You should be thanking me.
Which is pretty much redundant now because she's seen the bats. These bats which initially he was trying to conceal from her, by the way.
I wouldn't go in there if I were you.
Everything about this movie is so goddamn cliche.
Test subject for cell combination 117.
Test subject number 274. Come on. Oh no, it didn't work. Test subject has resulted in failure.
Test subject 117 has resulted in failure.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Casio watches, everyone. There's your ridiculously overt Sony movie product placement.
Dr. Morbius, it's Anna.
Weren't these bats supposed to be a secret? Fuck this woman's plausible deniability then.
Dr. Morbius, it's Anna.
More melodramatic bullshit. Oh no, the kid's in trouble.
We have to induce a coma before she has a stroke.
Again Morbius. This is a pathetic attempt to pull drama out of the film's ass. This has little to no relevance to anything. Oh, it's a sick kid. How could you not care about a sick kid going into cardiac arrest or whatever the fuck?
Michael.
You're gonna want to see this, Michael. That top secret science project you have going on in the room I can literally see directly into from this random little girl's hospital room. Now, she doesn't need any plausible deniability. She's gonna be dead soon anyway.
It worked.
Hey, yay, the experiment actually worked. Our hero Morbius then goes to see his best buddy Matt Smith to share with him the good news about the cure for the disease they both have. Now this scene here is the most expressive of a showcase that this friendship is going to be displayed in for this entire movie. So drink it in.
Just don't do something stupid and go and fall in love, because believe you me, there's absolutely no cure for that.
Says the guy who knows absolutely nothing about the subject.
And it's just utter corny crap.
Listen, if you start quoting The Notebook to me, I am going to stop and hobble very slowly in the opposite direction.
Haha, great funny banter between two friends. So endearing, so wholesome, haha.
I'm close, Milo. I can feel it.
I'm close, Milo. I can feel it. I'm extremely close to the camera to an almost jarring degree, Milo. The way this scene is shot is so aesthetically unpleasing to look at and just unnecessary. You don't need to be that fucking close.
You with me?
Till the day you die, brother. Till the day you die.
Matt Smith is all of a sudden Cockney.
We're the original Spartans, mate.
The few against the many.
So then Morbo and his hot assistant hire a boat and some mercenaries and go out to international waters to discreetly conduct the experiment. He puts the bat semen inside of him. He gets good suck and then he goes under. One of the mercenaries comes down to check on them, and the film does its absolute best to paint this character in such a bad light so no one will feel sorry for him when Morbius wakes up and kills him.
Shouldn't be down here.
I can be wherever I want, nurse.
It's doctor, actually.
Man bad.
Doctor. Sure, I can see it.
I wonder if this guy's going to be a prominent character from here on out. Morbio gets his vampire bat abilities and goes goblin mode, turns into some kind of monster, kills the bad man who definitely deserves to die.
Because you're an insane, degenerate piece of filth, and you deserve to die.
More mercenaries come, and Hot Girl gets knocked out from a light push.
Put that gun down!
That's another thing I can never take seriously. And writers can't think of a creative way to write someone out of a scene, so they just have them be lightly pushed over and then get knocked out. The actors always try and ham it up to make it seem more feasible.
Put that gun down!
It's even worse when this happens and the person dies. Don't know how to kill this character off, fuck it, he or she just slips and breaks her neck. We got our first awesome edgy action scene. Black blood gets on the camera. Oh no. This film's action is of that ilk where it's just utterly forgettable and derivative. Unoriginal CGI art styles, unoriginal cinematography. Morbius decides to double down on the derivative department, however, by mimicking the style of a 2005 action movie scene. Apparently they thought slow-mo was still cool. A guy just got his neck slashed open and there's no visible blood to show. Yeah, that's it, just cover your neck with your hands so we don't see that there's nothing there. This film is so sanitized. What exact age group is this for? Morbius is rated a PG-13. It wants to be all edgy and dark, but it doesn't have the freedom to be so. The gory scenes of people having their skin cut are ineffective because they're utterly watered down. It's not realistic at all. Barely any blood emerges when people get serious injuries, and when there is blood, they've just essentially made it look as black as humanly possible. It can honestly just be fucking Marmite. This film has to be for a very narrow and specific specific age demographic, that being 12-year-old boys. Any older is too mature, and any younger is too juvenile. Stupid 12-year-old boys who have just discovered what edgy is. They're the only kinds of people that could possibly take this film seriously. This is rated a 15 in the UK. Is this honestly supposed to be for older teenagers? You're gonna tell me with a straight face that 15 to 16-year-olds are gonna think this is cool and shocking. It's too cliche, simplistic and sanitized for older kids to like, but too boring, dreary and miserable for younger kids to find enjoyable. Oh yay, look at this character Morbius, everyone. This disgusting Ebola patient with bags under his eyes who does nothing but mumble in the same Weasley voice for the whole movie.
Set the trap at the mouth of the cave, please. I've even developed a form of echolocation. Bat radar for the uninitiated. Not that kind of vampire.
I've only just noticed this noise. What the hell was that? Was Morbius burping? How is that supposed to be threatening? Sounds like a Minecraft zombie noise. He escapes the boat and later he's back at his lab. So it's time for us to learn about the effects that the bat DNA is having on our main character. So guess what? It's time for more exposition.
As a result of my procedure, I have an overpowering urge to consume blood. In certain respects, I've succeeded far beyond anything I could have imagined.
Let's not show anything in a fun way.
For a period of time after ingestion, my numbers are off the charts. I have the constitution of an Olympic athlete. Yesterday, I could barely walk. Today, I don't know what I'm capable of. Increased strength and speed. That can only be described as superhuman.
We didn't need this shitty narration. You could have just had the montage play on its own.
For the first time in my entire life, I feel good.
He looks a lot better now, to be fair. His skin has more colour in it. This is because they've upped the saturation in post. So from this point forward, Michael Morbius has to consume human blood to have these superhuman abilities. For now, he can use this artificial blood that he created, which lasts around 6 hours, but that won't be a long-term effective solution. The blood also essentially cures him of his prior illness, but only on a temporary basis. Every couple of hours, he has to drink another batch of artificial blood to keep his abilities. So he has to keep checking his fucking Casio watch at multiple points during the movie.
I've been timing myself. Artificial blood keeps me stable for 6 hours.
Nice one. Sooner or later, however, the artificial blood is going to start working, so there's going to be that inevitable moral dilemma regarding if, when, and how he drinks human blood.
Artificial blood won't work forever.
Now, this moral ambiguity is what is supposed to set this film apart as a much more edgier superhero movie with this blood-sucking anti-hero as the lead. However, the film never really explores this theme in any stimulating or original ways. There's no meaningful internal struggle on behalf of Morbius's character, no interesting moral discussion that the film poses. It just winds up being your typical generic superhero movie where it's good person with bat powers versus bad person with bat powers.
It's not a curse, it's a gift. You started this, you created this, you created us.
Another scene that's utterly derivative of Batman Begins.
I feel a kinship with these creatures. They would tear anyone else apart, but they welcome me. Like a brother.
We could have surmised that just from the fucking visuals.
I've even developed a form of echolocation.
Ooh, echolocation. How does he control it?
How do I control it? Breathe. And let it go.
Oh, nice one, he can control it. Problem solved.
Said we caught a dirty one.
Jared Leto is a pretentious douchebag who has no true respect for the craft of acting. At least that's just my speculation. For him, it's all about image and looking artistically sophisticated. It's all surface level.
You don't want no beef? You don't want no beef?
He wants the brand of being a tortured method actor, but he puts in none of the actual work that the real method actors do. With people like Christian Bale and Daniel Day-Lewis, you can't really doubt the authenticity in their methods. It might be a little insane, but they turn over amazing three-dimensional performances that have profound effects on audiences. Even when I'm supposed to believe Jared Leto's done a good performance, it's still easy to poke holes in what he's doing.
You fucking fuck! Fuck is your problem?
It's still just paper thin. The best thing he's ever been involved in was Requiem for a Dream, but that got a good performance out of Marlon Wayans, who's supposedly a trash actor the rest of the time.
Call 911! Tell him the dog is white! Tell him the dog is white!
Oh look, it's my least favourite part of Blade Runner 2049. And of course you wanted to play Joker, one of the most attention-grabbing roles in Hollywood at the moment. The worst thing you can be as an artist is inauthentic, and that's what Jared Leto is. Just a Hollywood pretty boy brat posing as an actor. And this egotistical and vain approach to his acting roles bleeds over into his performance in this film.
Maybe this is where I belong. If I'm in here, then nobody else does.
He's just completely insincere, and if he thinks that he's being genuine, then it's out of utter narcissistic delusion. This performance is nothing but a one-dimensional image of a character.
Test 243. Human trials.
Just putting on this effortless whispering voice.
Eventually, my vitals drop precipitously and my illness returns with vengeance.
Oh, I'm cool and mysterious. There's so much mystique to me. Oh, look at me, I'm in crutches. That's another thing. He used crutches on set as a form of method acting, apparently severely delaying production every time he had to go and take a piss. You're literally not achieving anything aside from being an objective detriment to the project you're working on. The Morbius character in and of itself is awful too. He's just this generic scientist guy who mumbles all his lines in this expressionless way.
6 to 8 weeks. A little ibuprofen. It'll heal up just fine.
You know, there's something called plausible deniability. You should be thanking me.
What a pussy. Oh, it's supposed to be like that because he's sick. What a piss poor excuse for this phony ass characterization. He's supposed to be boring, meek and monotonous. You can still display that in an engaging way. When he isn't this feeble little creature, he's just about serviceable, utterly dull, not necessarily entertainingly bad like Matt Smith. Matt Smith is the real star of this movie. The vast majority of my enjoyment of this film came from him. Matt Smith is the new Marvel legend.
Just you and me, Michael. Nothing. No one to hold us back.
This is so ham when he's writing blood on the glass and then he underlines it.
Blood. What, the blood in the freezer?
Do you guys want to talk about rushed scenes again? Me too. Milo comes up to check on Michael. In less than 4 minutes, Milo finds out that Morbius has successfully found a cure for their disease.
You're strong. You did it. You found a cure to live.
Asks for Michael to give him the cure.
Michael, enough. Just give it to me. I need it. I can't live like this any longer.
Gets really angry at Michael when he denies him the cure because of how dangerous it is.
I can't control it!
What, so you get to live and I get to die, is that it?
Then Morbius morbs on him and scares him off.
No, please, Michael, don't.
I said get out!
These are all story beats that would each get an appropriate amount of time to breathe in a competent movie that wasn't cynically being rushed along. What is supposed to be a gradual decline in the friendship is this crude and abrupt argument that feels like it only arose because the film insisted it so. The last time these two were together, they were best friends. It was the moment at the start of the movie that essentially says, hey, look at these two, what good friends they are. Let's all hope this doesn't gradually shatter. That'd be a real shame. But now in the next scene they share, they're almost at each other's throats having this heated argument.
You with me?
Till the day you die, brother.
I can't control it!
Again, it's funny because of how phony it is, so I'm happy anyway, but it's awful storytelling. Matt Smith experiences an entire film's worth of emotions in just one moment.
You're strong. You did it. You found a cure to live. Michael, enough. Just give it to me. I need it. I can't live like this any longer. Please.
I can't.
What do you mean you can't? I do understand. Please, have I ever denied you anything? Have I ever said no? What, so you get to live and I get to die, is that it? No, don't make me go. No, please, Michael, don't.
I said get out!
And after this scene, he's pretty much a villain because he secretly takes the cure anyway. And he kills someone that night. It's just insisting that he's really angry and bitter. Well, he's ill, and he got beaten up when he was a kid. That's his entire character. That's all we are given. Guess he's evil now.
And I will not go back. You cannot make me go back. I won't let you make me go back.
Also, Matt Smith really isn't doing a good performance here, and he's a good actor.
There you are! Perfect Michael, selfless Michael, Michael, the favourite!
Jared Harris is probably the most talented actor attached to this, and he actually does a semi-convincing job at selling some of these appalling lines of dialogue.
Oh, don't be childish, Milo! If anyone has a claim to being my favourite, it's you. I've devoted my life to you.
It took a team of scientists to build that machine, and you fixed it with a ballpoint pen.
But with Matt Smith...
How can you say that to me?
Everything he says and does feels overly simplistic and insincere. Without a prior knowledge of who he is, you'd just think he was another incompetent actor. Oh, look, I've got a limp. Oh, look, I'm doing a British accent, innit?
I can't sleep.
I can't sleep. His British accent keeps randomly slipping into Cockney too.
We're the original Spartans, mate.
How'd he get that wrong? He's British. The most likely reasoning for this is that he just plainly did not give a shit about this movie, which, I mean, fair enough. Milo. So much emotion there. Now this moment is supposed to be a big reveal that Milo has taken the bat DNA and has started drinking blood. We're not supposed to know this. We're supposed to think it was Morbius who killed this woman in the hallway earlier, even though it's painfully obvious it wasn't him. Now because Matt Smith is on the source, he obviously doesn't need his walking stick, so we get this really amazing visual reveal of him being able to walk properly. There are these close-ups of his feet. I don't know if this is intentionally referencing the end of Usual Suspects, but it's funny to imagine that this movie thinks it's on the same level of sophistication. This is some Hitchcockian shit right here. Yeah, you better take that artificial blood because you throwing that walking stick in that pathetic way was really embarrassing. You know, I will say, I don't mind the fluttering effect the Morb gives off when he's leaping about. It isn't terrible. I'm definitely grasping at straws here. Everyone watching is like, Bacho, what the fuck are you talking about? It looks trash. Morbius and Milo have their first hero-villain fight. Milo's made his mind up as to where he stands. Honestly, Matt Smith's rushed character development might be this film's most glowing flaw. Wow, now that is epic.
What used to say?
What did they used to say? Something about the few against the many, like in 300 or some shit.
We're the original Spartans, mate. The few against the many.
What used to say? Live a little.
Live a little? When did they ever used to say that? I'll do the filmmakers the courtesy of going back and inserting this line at some point earlier in the film.
Milo?
Live a little! When this movie isn't botching its character arcs, it's just giving us dull and forgettable action scenes. Nothing to really comment on here. Monster Energy!
I just have to drink it more often.
How often?
Every 4 hours, 22 minutes.
Yeah, the artificial blood only lasts for so long, so I gotta keep checking my Casio watch over here.
I love this movie. Is this the part where the mysterious guy with the hoodie comes in and kicks everybody's asses? I love that part.
Oh, seven hells. Thanks to Deadpool, every Hollywood hack thinks they can get some quick, clever points by being lazily meta, like with this line here. I'm so sick to death of things being meta. It's such an oversaturated thing to do at the moment.
You can keep all the money, all your little toys, just leave the sciencey stuff and that bag of spicy Cheetos.
Again with the fucking product placement. Hey, you guys better fuck off, but don't you dare take the Monster Energy. Here's the scene that got memed to the high heavens. This is really funny. This deserved to get memed. I imagine this moment stuck out to people because at this point in the movie they were just bored. It's like the only thing of note to happen. So now that Matt Smith is all superhuman, it's time to go out there and pull.
I remember.
There we go again with the Cockney.
Alright, love. Fancy a shag?
From this point forward, the film follows your usual generic superhero movie third act structure. Love interest gets in danger. Morbius fights evil Morbius. Oh yeah, Jared Harris dies. Matt Smith kills him. Matt Smith kills the man who is essentially his surrogate father. I told you he was evil. He's angry.
Do you disapprove? What's the matter, Nicholas? Is Daddy cross?
Time for the final showdown. It's so ugly. Matt Smith looks ridiculous. Definitely a poor creature design choice there.
That's the spirit. Yeah.
What the fuck was that?
That's the spirit.
Just grey shit littering the screen. One last tacky Batman Begins ripoff. So Morbo fights Milo, kills him, love interest dies, but then comes back as a vampire. The end.
Michael, you can't kill me. It's me.
10 out of 10 emotional resonance here. Great, the movie's over. Oh, but wait, there's 2 sleazy post-credit scenes where it tries to tie itself into the MCU. Oh look, it's Vulture. Man, the MCU are far from perfect, but those guys want nothing to do with your shitty characters, Sony.
Thanks for meeting me, Doc. I've been reading about you.
I'm listening.
The editing is appalling.
But I think a bunch of guys like us should team up. Could do some good.
Intriguing.
Michael Keaton is so obviously not there.
I'm not sure how I got here. Has to do with Spider-Man, I think.
Is that even his voice? The way in which Sony tried so hard to capitalise off of the success of Spider-Man No Way Home was pathetic. Trying to associate Morbius with the MCU as much as they could. From the producers of Spider-Man No Way Home. The trailers for this film have shots in them where you can see pictures of Spider-Man, and then they aren't even in the final movie. It's so deceptive. Tom Holland's Spider-Man has essentially nothing to do with this film, because Disney don't want to associate themselves with these terrible Sony films. Oh look, it's the Daily Bugle. It marketed itself as a new Marvel legend. That's not a thing. When has a single MCU film ever referred to one of their characters as a Marvel legend? Chris Pratt, the Marvel legend. You want to be like Guardians of the Galaxy and Black Panther, where you make billions of dollars and everyone's dressing up as Morbius for Halloween. Morbius sucks. No kid wants to be Morbius. It's just Sony desperately clinging to their loose association with the Disney Marvel films. It is shameful. Now, I'm pretty sure that no one cares about this movie enough to argue in its favour, but let's just say that there was such a person, and one of their points was that Morbius just came out at the wrong time, and it would have been a perfectly competent and acceptable movie if it was released in perhaps the mid-2000s. Now, I'm going to prove why that's a retarded-ass point. So you'd say Morbius is a film made for the mid-2000s. Could we agree on 2008? If it came out in 2008, it'd be good. That's the hypothesis here. I'm talking to myself, I know. Well, you know what else came out in 2008? Iron Man. Now, Morbius actually has a lot in common with the first Iron Man. They're both superhero origin stories, they both have hyper-intelligent characters as the leads, they both have a final showdown where the hero fights an essentially evil version of himself. The key difference that sets these two films apart, however, is that Iron Man has really good storytelling, and it also helps that Iron Man is played by Robert Downey Jr. and not Jared Leto.
You ever lose an hour of sleep your whole life?
Be prepared to lose a few with you.
Pilates helps.
Right up until Avengers Endgame, Robert Downey Jr. took this character seriously and fully committed himself to the role.
I said we'd lose. You said, we'll do that together too. And guess what, Cap? We lost. And you weren't there.
Look at the first scene we get with Tony Stark as opposed to the first scene we get with Michael Morbius.
I feel like you're driving me to a court-martial. This is crazy. What did I do? I feel like you're gonna pull over and snuff me. What, you're not allowed to talk? Hey, Forrest.
Robert Downey Jr.'s acting is great, so his character is instantly magnetic.
We can talk, sir. Oh, I see. So it's personal?
No, you intimidate them.
Good God, you're a woman.
The dialogue is well written, and the scene has this sharp pacing to it.
I couldn't have called that. I mean, I'd apologize, but isn't that what we're going for here? I thought of you as a soldier first.
We learn so much about this character just from how he acts here. Already, he feels like a fully fleshed out individual.
I'm an airman.
But you have actually excellent bone structure there. I'm kind of having a hard time not looking at you now. Is that weird? Come on, it's okay, laugh. Hey!
He's snarky, he's bold and a little bit inappropriate, a partial womanizer. There are signs that he might be a tiny bit of an arsehole, but a likeable arsehole. Above all else, the character not only feels properly established, but just all around alive. Tony Stark feels like he has his own pulse. He doesn't feel like a manufactured piece of storytelling. He just fucking is.
I don't want to see this on your MySpace page. Please, no gang signs. No, throw it up, I'm kidding.
This scene also does a really good job at conveying information about who Tony Stark is without us even noticing. Just the fact that we see a smartly dressed man with shades on, drinking alcohol inside an army vehicle with soldiers, tells us so much. His dress code implies he's of high status. He's being escorted by an army convoy, so he's most likely a very important figure. The fact that he's casually drinking within this serious warfare setting also could infer that he's laid back, cocky and audacious.
That is an excellent question. Yes and no. March and I had a scheduling conflict, but fortunately the Christmas cover was twins. Anything else? You're kidding me with the hand up, right?
Just from the quick-natured way in which he talks, we can surmise that he's a fairly intelligent individual. He is clever, the dialogue is clever. It doesn't have one of the soldiers ask him an extremely unnecessary question for him to respond with something like, "I am a doctor."
You need a doctor?
I am a doctor.
Do you need a billionaire? I am a billionaire. Or have him holding a Rubik's Cube or saying some ham-fisted line about history.
Like the original Spartans. We are the few against the many.
Now maybe these two scenes aren't equivalent because one is about a diseased child genius and the other is about an eccentric adult billionaire. So let's have a look at a different pair of scenes that have more in common, like these two scenes where both characters are receiving an award. And yeah, Iron Man does give us this big exposition dump, but by this point in the movie we've already gotten this scene, so we already find Tony Stark captivating. The film made sure to do that first and then give us the exposition dump. With the Morbius equivalent, however, all we get is the exposition of him being an accomplished genius scientist.
Michael Morbius completed his doctorate by 19 and quickly established himself as the world's leading authority on blood-borne diseases.
The exposition isn't even colourfully done, they just have Jared Harris flatly read it out. At least Iron Man had a swanky PowerPoint presentation.
Creating smarter weapons, advanced robotics, satellite targeting. Today, Tony Stark has changed the face of the weapons industry
and quickly established himself as the world's leading authority on blood-borne diseases.
Now what can we derive visually from Morbius's character? Greasy hair, pale skin, he's sickly. A tortured genius perhaps. Is this visual conveyance subtle? No. Does it feel natural? No. Oh look, he's got greasy hair, pale skin, and he's in crutches. Poor sickly boy over here. Feel sorry for me. However, the way in which he looks apprehensive when he's being applauded could tell us that he's a humble person. Or maybe he's antisocial. Maybe he's solely devoted to science and he doesn't care for these over-extravagant award ceremonies. I wonder... Oh, it cut away. It cut away. It's a good thing too. We may have developed our character. Tony Stark isn't even present for his award, and he makes 100 times more of an impression than Morbius does at his. Tony Stark not being present for his own award is a character-defining moment in and of itself.
The best thing about Tony is also the worst thing. He's always working.
Then it cuts to him at a casino to let the audience know that he's the kind of guy who doesn't give a fuck. Now in Morbius's defense, you could argue that the cutting from the ceremony straight to the hospital room is indicative of Morbius being someone who prioritizes saving people's lives over the vanity of awards. This is what science is truly about for him. That's all well and good, maybe. I still do think that the film shouldn't have omitted the scene where Morbius slights the King of Sweden. There's no good reason to take that out.
I can't believe you dissed the King of Sweden.
But then again, regardless of all of this, Jared Leto's acting would still prevent that scene from being entertaining. There's just nothing naturalistic, immersive or believable about this character and Jared Leto's performance. Even if the dialogue isn't being expositional and is instead trying to show some personality, it only results in utterly pandering and corny drivel.
More importantly, how did you get my passcode?
The first 6 digits of 5 backwards is your password for everything. You should change that.
These aren't people, these aren't characters, these are failed attempts at creating something that audiences can connect with. What else is Iron Man known for? Oh yeah, the scenes where he's creating the suit. That's one of the unique selling points of the movie. Extremely engaging to sit through. Much better than a rushed 5-minute montage of Jared Leto listing off his abilities. Oh look, I've got this ability. Oh nice, I've also got this ability. Oh, I've got echolocation. How do I use this? I'll bounce a ball around the room.
That's it? That's the best you got?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
Lastly, Morbius has that generic showdown where he fights an essentially evil version of himself and it's really forgettable. Now Iron Man counters this by having a Oh yeah, I forgot. Dang it. This is the thing with Marvel films. Every time you think you may have a great movie on your hands, they always find a way to just so slightly let you down. But hey, at least Jeff Bridges had properly defined motivations. He also didn't ever say the line, "Is Daddy cross?"
What's the matter, Nicholas? Is Daddy cross?
That was fun. Or was it? I'll let you decide. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. I hope you enjoyed this video. Even though it's a big fault of the film, I'm really glad it took itself as seriously as it did. The more seriously these vein of dark, edgy, awful films take themselves, the funnier. It's like a cosplayer who genuinely believes that they're the character they're dressed as, that they look really, really cool. They think that they look as cool as Christian Bale's Batman or Billy Butcher. It's like, no, you gotta take me seriously. And they're like, ugh. It's funny. I'm also really glad it was as rushed as it was because it went by quicker, and it was a much more wackier experience because it was just haphazardly rushing through all of these storytelling beats. So it was amusing and brief. That's the review. It was bad, but it was amusing and brief. Do not watch it. Do not pay for this film. Do not rent it. Do not give money towards this film like I did. I'm going to burn for that. Morbius is in that perfect vein of film that's a lot of fun to criticise, a lot of fun for arseholes like me to make reviews of. Beyond this morbid curiosity of us watching a cinematic car crash, I don't really think this is any other kind of value. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed the Morb. And see you later. I'll catch you on the Morb side. Morb out. What a terrible piece of shit I am.
I have the constitution of an Olympic athlete.
Get off the stage, you disgusting fat fuck. 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 Get off the stage, you disgusting fat fuck.